Against this right back, Charlie.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
There's always just that active red line defenders. I think it's like. There's always just that active red line defenders. I think it's like. There's always just that active red line defenders. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
Just like Ian Wright said there, take two. Just like Ian Wright said there, people deluded. I'm back again. First things first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on where you guys are. Hope everyone and their loved ones are doing well and safe. If you're on Twitch, make sure you're subscribing via Amazon Prime. It makes a difference to the platform. One love to the Twitch gang. YouTube ones, don't feel left out. Please make sure you're commenting, you're smashing the like button. Actually, on both platforms, you're setting your reminders. After this, I'm next online at 1:30. That will be on YouTube and Twitch. I'll be with Fabrice Muamba, where we'll be speaking, no doubt, about Fulham's 3-0 defeat to Arsenal and any other Arsenal questions I've prepared in my notes and actually got for you lot on that topic. Please make sure you're checking out the community tab where I've asked you any questions you want to ask the individual, with it being Fabrice. And also, I'm aware that, you know, he had to cut the time short. Don't worry, your questions that you asked last time will be covered. As usual, appreciative of all my long-term supporters. Appreciate you lot tuned in. It's an interactive thing. It's a live show settings. Make sure you're smashing the like button, commenting, subscribing, and all of that good stuff. And again, final thank yous to everyone who was part of my watch along yesterday and watched all of my match reactions. And you would have noticed today I kind of went over Fulham versus Arsenal from a tactical point of view. Again, stylish. If you're there, I see you in the comments as well. I appreciate the kind words, man. One love to the Nightbot people. So yeah, man, it is what it is, you know. And again, big morning to my fellow Arsenal friends, 3-point debt collectors. You know what we do, man. We pressure everybody in London at this moment, and even in the league. I don't know where we are in the league table, but 11 games to go. Keep it going, lads. What you said here, the journey to 10K continues on Twitch. Amazing stuff. Big up DJ in the chat. Congrats on reaching 7K. One love to the Twitch gang. If you're on YouTube and not following on Twitch, make sure you get over there. Appreciative of what we're building. Hopefully by the end of the year, we can get to 10K and 60,000 on YouTube, man. So yeah, big up you lot, people, really. I see you lot are still Monday morning. You lot don't want to be here and whatnot. As I said, people, set your reminders for 1:30. Purely because after this, again, Fabrice Muamba settings, people, and big up to everyone who smashed the like button on such already, people. So yeah, man, we might as well see what's being said from an Arsenal perspective in the news. I'm not gonna lie to you lot, people. I'm exhausted speaking about Arsenal Fulham now, so I'd love to entertain you lot's opinions, really. We're going to look at MIKEL Arteta's press conference. Allegedly, he's been talking about Gabriel Jesus. Big up, DG. Great win yesterday, but unfortunately, I'm banned from watching the matches live, as recently we haven't scored when I've been watching. Jay, you're bad luck, Omen. Shout out the YouTube members, man. Get back to watching us, my guy. Get back to watching us. I don't know about any of that. Seems like we're having some technical issues here as well. Apologies, people. My laptop's been playing up this morning. It's doing our madness. Close that. Definitely close that. One sec, people. Let me leave and come back because this is ruining the thing. Yeah, let me come back. One sec, people. Are we back? I hope we are. So yeah, big up you lot. Sorry for those difficulties you may have faced. Let's see exactly what MIKEL Arteta has had to say in his press conference and every other sub comment as well, for that matter. First things first, people. Early doors, smash the like button if you haven't. Again, as you can see here, MIKEL Arteta has said 100 wins is not a title. Fantastic achievement for MIKEL Arteta to have 100 wins, but I'm not too sure he'll be happy with that. Apparently, the boss brought up his century in his 168th game in charge, meaning his overall win percentage of 59.5% is the highest of any Arsenal manager in history. But more importantly, it's our 21st league win of the season so far from 27 games played, and that was Arteta's main focus after the final whistle at Craven Cottage. To come here and perform the way we've done against a team like Fulham in this stadium, I think the players deserve a big compliment. I think we all believe that as well. With the way we played, the goals that we scored, the clean sheet and the determination and the purpose that we showed today to play the way we want to play, it's great. In brackets, 100 wins. We have to continue like that. I'm delighted to do that. Unfortunately, it's not a title, so there's still a lot to improve. Again, allegedly, purely looking at this season, Mikel Arteta's win ratio is 73%, and the boss was quick to pay credit to the team behind the team for the remarkable consistency the team has shown so far this season. It is incredible, and that means that we have a lot of people doing the right things at the club. In the team, a lot of players contributing immensely, and especially the support that we have, which in my opinion has absolutely transformed this team with that energy. So I'm really happy. I think we can all agree with that. Mikel Arteta's extended comments, in fact, just before that, Zinchenko has said it's a perfect day for the Gooners. Fulham are a very good team, which they are. They've played well this season, which they have, especially at home. We knew that they are so dangerous, so we obviously prepared quite well. I think our first half performance was quite good. We controlled almost everything on and off the ball. It's a very important 3 points, a clean sheet, and a perfect day for the Gooners. Let's keep going. Our comfortable win was in contrast to the last gasp win over Bournemouth. As Zinchenko said, he was happy to enjoy an afternoon with less drama. I think we all are. I called for us to be a lot more boring for the neutrals, and we was that. He said, yes, that's for sure. It was a big lesson for us against Bournemouth. We analysed the game, what we did well, what we did badly. It's football, we're human beings and make mistakes, and the important is thinking to the next action. Fair enough. Wise words from a wise player. Let's see everything Mikel Arteta has said. Moussa Diaby is a must. Two-footed, can play anywhere across the front three. Amazing versatility. His playing style fits Arsenal to a T, taking players on and making a deadly final pass. I think when you look at his statistics and actually just how he plays, he's a bit like Rafinha in that there's a bit of inconsistencies playing on the left versus the right, but everything else, I agree with you. I think his right foot can get him out of trouble, but I wouldn't describe him as both-footed. The only issue is if he prefers to play off the right-hand side, that's Bukayo Saka's. Now, Saka's going to have to do the job. We would like competition / someone that could fill in, but Moussa Diaby is going to cost a lot of money in that regards. Also, he can, again, you're right, perform on the left and the right. He's of the right age. We've got historical French ties. He's also been linked with Paris Saint-Germain. So I don't think we're going to get Diaby for what it's worth, but we can entertain the talking points. I'm not saying we can't. I just don't think we will. Mikel Arteta, anyways, on our win, he said, really happy. It's a really tough place to come against a well-organized team. Again, you have to credit Marco Silva. I think we dominated the game. We created so many chances. We kept the clean sheet, which was really important. And we won the game in a convincing way. So I'm very happy. And I think, you can't add anything onto what Mikel Arteta said, apart from maybe if we're, the only super, super harsh points we could look at is that obviously if we're chasing this league title and you're chasing Manchester City, anytime you can get the goal difference up, you want to do that. And potentially, that could have been the case against Fulham while we kept a clean sheet and obviously scored. Xhaka could have scored, Martinelli could have scored. We all could have scored a lot more, man. We all could have scored a lot more, but it is what it is. As I said, most important thing is 3 points. Second of all, clean sheet. And obviously it's nice to see players scoring, people like Trossard, scumbag is not the right word, but scumbagging some statistics. Martinelli got his 12th goal of the campaign. Saka wasn't necessarily our most brightest player off the right-hand side, but he showed why he's so good. And I think in the last couple of games, if you watch the games again, obviously, it's nice that we don't necessarily rely on Saka beyond the obvious. We obviously do because he's a great player. When you look at Sporting Lisbon, him and Fabio Vieira earned the corner for the goal. Obviously, Bukayo, it's a great team move for, I want to say Martinelli's header, but no, Odegaard's goal, because Partey's won it from a throw-in. He's won it from a throw-in. He's found Saka. Saka's found Martinelli. Martinelli's found Trossard. Trossard's found Odegaard, who's made a lovely run. That was a good thing, I'd say, for the game as well. If you want to see what teams are doing, really, and where the real picture is, it's what people are doing on and off the ball. And I would say for Martinelli and Odegaard's goals in particular, it's nice to see them darting. Again, you're taught in Sunday League. If you play a great pass, don't just sit and admire it. Go and get involved. And I think that's central to what Mikel Arteta is doing. Everything Mikel Arteta is doing at this current stage in his career at Arsenal and what we're doing this season, I have to have nothing but praise. Obviously, there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of things we could do better, but for what's been missing for years, we're competitive. There's more consistency. We're turning up performances in big games and away from home. Players are challenging each other and themselves. Mikel Arteta is having great problems picking his starting 11. There's adaptability. You know, we've got a perfect blend of the experienced players, Trossard being the latest one, doing what they need to do, and the younger players obviously doing what they need to do. They said Martinelli lost form, ain't that 5 in a row or something like that for him, and 12 for the season. So it's lovely. If we're judging it on a team that's expected to win league titles and challenging for league titles, of course there's a lot we need to improve, specifically at the moment, not conceding cheap goals, although we didn't do that against Fulham, man. DG, show the people how we should have scored banger settings. You know what the people want, the people get. One season wonder, Sunday League failed, won the kid, why not? And I think as you big up Zinchenko. Well, we got a black Zinchenko here. I don't know about overlaps. It's an underlap. Shout out the midget goalie as well. Mazzolini, second goal in the week. We lost the game, but who cares? But yeah, what the people want, the people get in it. I'm never going to miss an opportunity. Need Osimhen as well. Would love us to get a big midfielder and Osimhen in early, then we go for the rest. I wanted to ask for Fabrice Muamba this year, and I do think this is very reactionary because Arsenal fans always do this stuff, you know, about when one player's in form, what's going to happen to the rest of them. And I think some Arsenal fans want depth. Again, some want depth, but some are scared of depth. So if I look at it, and let me just play devil's advocate with you lot, please humor me, yeah? I'm not saying I necessarily believe this, but with Trossard showing what he can do up front and off the left and his experience, could that spell the end of Eddie Nketiah and Balogun? Like I said, I don't necessarily believe that. We should not draw conclusions on whether Balogun can or can't do it at Arsenal at this moment in time. Could that be the end of Eddie Nketiah? Because you look at the bench now. Previously, last few weeks, Reece Nelson has been missing out because obviously Arteta, like he said, from a tactical point of view, the other Dons are doing what they need to do. But Reece Nelson has found a name for himself now. Obviously, you've got Trossard. You saw the bench. Somebody has to miss out. If Eddie Nketiah was fit, Jesus was also on the bench because of injuries. If Eddie Nketiah was fit, I do believe he would have been on the bench. Maybe for Reece Nelson. I see that's the only one. Because remember, you can't have a lot of attackers. But if you get Trossard, is that the end of Balogun and obviously Eddie Nketiah at the club? Bearing in mind, Eddie just signed a new deal. I'm just asking you lot purely because some, including myself, if you could bring, no disrespect to Jesus, to Balogun or Eddie, especially Eddie, I like what he does, but if you could bring a striker in like Osimhen, or let's just not say Osimhen, let's just say someone that's got that X factor that can get goals, I would do it to go with Jesus. I think one of Balogun and Eddie Nketiah could stay because there's a lot of games, and I actually think, you know, everyone can coexist. But what would you lot think? Legendary Sunday League goal, where is your Puskas? To be fair, I won goal of the season for that. Like, shout out wrongers. Make sure you give him a follow on the socials. Someone is probably going to have to go. It's probably Balogun because he holds value. Swaying towards selling Eddie and getting a more clinical striker in. But then again, you know, I do think Eddie has gone from being on the peripheral to really our second choice striker. And I think people are quite disrespectful to Eddie Nketiah, if I'm real with you. You know, I'm not, again, I hope Eddie can develop. He has been developing. I don't think he'll ever be the one we rely on, but strikers do develop late. And to be fair to him, he has, you know, scored some vital goals for this football club off the back of last season and this season. You know, he did look a bit tired. It would do that to you, having to play all those 90 minutes. But he did fill in very well for Jesus. And I think you need that squad player. In a nice way, what you see is what you get with Eddie Nketiah. He's got, you know, so I actually feel some of you that are saying, sell him, you could have weight to it because now you can see he's quote unquote Premier League proven. Obviously, he's on apparently 100 bags or something like that. That could make it techie for other clubs. You know, having signed a new deal, got the love of Mikel Arteta, Arsenal going to be in the Champions League, doing this Haaland thing, you know, and this youngster thing, would you want to leave? So it all depends, man. If we get 25 to 30 for Eddie, I'd take it. I'm not going to lie, I'm being a bit greedy. I think that's about fair, but with Eddie somewhat emergence, if he was on the peripheral thing still, then yeah, but I wouldn't be happy with 25 odd million for Eddie Nketiah. You know, Premier League standard player, obviously got his best years in front of him. And whether you believe Eddie, not saying you, but whether you believe Eddie Nketiah is going to be the next this and the other, he's at the not baby stages, but baby stages as a striker. Homegrown rule, there will be some resale value. So I'm not too sure for taking 30 million, really, you know. If it was based on selling one of them, I'd be more inclined to sell Eddie Nketiah because I think Balogun's there's an unknown there, and like somebody said, CeeLo, I believe it is, his stock is a lot higher. But at the same time, you know, Eddie and Nketiah might not be bagging for fun, but we don't know how good or not Balogun is in the Premier League, really and truly. And if someone's just going to hold the bench and things like that and be a squad player, you kind of know what you're getting with Eddie and Nketiah. So ideally, I would like both of them, but I do think there's a decision to make. I think the next step has to be giving Balogun a new deal, protecting our resale value and ensuring we can move in other directions, because I hope Balogun goes from strength to strength. But there is a reality, you're not going to just play like this forever. He got his 16th goal of the season last year. There's going to be seasons you somewhat struggle, man. The way I look at it, is we got Trossard for 20-ish. I know he's way more developed and older, but he's miles ahead of Eddie as a player. 25 million for Eddie would be great business. On the fact that he got released from Chelsea, won an FA Cup, played X amount of times, done his thing, and an academy prospect and project, it would be, but I think we'd be selling ourselves short. If Solanke went for 30 million, I want 50 for Eddie. I mean, it comes down to what you can hustle in this day and age, really and truly. Players' values are out the window. Moses Caicedo, quality player, but they're saying 70 to 90 million. It's a madness. Mudryk, madness. Even Declan Rice, if he signs, it's good. Madness. At the time, Benjamin White, one Premier League season, 50 million. Madness. So we either find these guys abroad or find players before they emerge, or we pay the going rate. So it all depends. We have to take 35 minimum for Eddie, and we need to get better at selling. That's one problem with what we've done so far. We need Balogun next year. I don't trust Jesus and Eddie and Nketiah. So to play devil's advocate, why do you trust Balogun? Balogun's playing in the French league, not to discredit anything he's done or the French league. Big up to what he's doing. But he's playing in the French league. Lacazette looks 10 years younger there, scoring goals for fun. There is a French league tax. At least Eddie might not be spectacular, but if there's 10 games, you kind of know what you're getting from Eddie. You don't know necessarily what you're getting from Balogun. He might be amazing in 3 of those games, woeful in the others, and amazing in the others. Saying that, the fear of the unknown could be something great as well. So how do you necessarily know? Balogun, at this moment in time, in my opinion, with some Arsenal fans, is a bit of a shiny new toy. And once again, I think his ceiling is higher than Eddie and Nketiah's. I think he's got a bit more about him. But then I even have to question my own logic, because I sit here and say he's got a bit more about him. From what I see of Balogun doing the loan reports and things like that for you lot, I think Eddie and Nketiah is ahead of him in terms of speed of thought and the different dynamisms to his game, because he's been in a first-team environment a lot longer, really. So, yeah, man. Sell Eddie and Balogun, Muller towards Osman Fan. I hear that. Now, I can't be seeing Eddie go for less than Iwobi. Shout out Iwobi as he's doing his thing. But 20 to 30 is defo short, in my opinion. 35 million for Eddie minimum. Fair enough. But that's the comment on the live stream, man, from K. Then if Solanke went for big boy P's, I'm sure I don't even know. Did he get capped by Liverpool at the time of being sold? Big up DS, man. DG is the boss out of YouTube, only because you lot are the best supporters, man. We have to be cruel to be kind. And that goes for everyone. We might get in a scenario where Smith Rowe, Gabriel, anyone really and truly, as much as Eddie's been good, we might need to upgrade. If I look at 2 players in particular, I love them. I think they're developing, they're amazing. And I'm not saying I want to sell them, but there might come a reality where Ramsdale and Gabriel, for example, to humor some people, where, they say they've got the bozo gene. As we get better and better as a football club and by God's grace, challenging for major stuff, you might want people who do what they do, but to a lesser extent. Tony is the one to go, bro. If we could bring Ivan Tony tomorrow, I'm on it, because he'll definitely make us all a lot richer. He believes in himself. He's got the X factor. He's got that positive swagger. Obviously, let's be big up Brentford, but Ivan Tony would be wavy in the Arsenal team. The way he plays football, he would definitely scumbag some more goals. It could be kind of lit. Arteta needs to pick another French league team to send him there on loan. Balogun needs his chance to sign for the Gunners. I don't think a conclusion needs to be drawn. Me personally, if he wants to stay in the French league, join a bigger team in France, them things there, or any other top 5 league, I'm here for it. But at the same time, I would like to see him up close and personal in the Premier League, man. Nonetheless, fantastic talking points. Tierney leaving us. He might do. What I would say to Kieran Tierney is, I get it. If you can move to Newcastle, you're closer to Scotland, you're joining a big club with a big project, Eddie Howe's more likely to make you play, great. But this is the first time in your Arsenal career that you've been second fiddle, maybe even third choice if you consider Tomiyasu at left back, where, we're being a competitive team. You signed a new deal. The manager loves you. We're going to be in the Champions League. Zinchenko's amazing and what he gives to us, but for 38 games, no one's going to be amazing. So there's something there. We need to upgrade all positions starting this summer. I would say, if nothing more, if we can bring in a centre mid or 2, fair play. If you can, I don't think we will, but if you can bring in a striker, be great. Or someone that can play across all the, kind of like Trossard can play in all the roles. and with a bit of stardust, a bit of X factor. Because if you're going to be in the Champions League, sometimes it's going to go wrong. You might need a player that can just get you out of it, if I'm completely honest with you. Looking at our bench, there's not that much space for everyone. It's either Eddie or Reece for match day. Squad once Eddie is back. There you have it, you know. Because it's not just attackers, you're going to need people on the bench. Not going to lie, perfect team for Balogun would be Brighton or Brentford, maybe put a buyback clause as well. If it was this year, I'd actually say Crystal Palace. They're struggling for goals, haven't got really much striking options. Obviously, they're more experienced than him, but you've got, I don't even know if he's still there, but Ayew, what's the other one? Edouard, I'd back him to play games there, really. Brighton would be lit because obviously they play wavy football, but they've got their own young G in I don't know if he's injured, but Ferguson. We definitely need to level up that right wing position. I'm here for that. I do think Trossard, Martinelli can play and perform off there. But if you could bring someone in, why not? I'll be honest, I haven't seen many full games for Balogun at Reims. Do they play a similar system to us? Would he fit in the system? I wouldn't say it's a similar system to us. I do think Balogun would fit our system. What I like with Balogun is, first and foremost, he's competent. He's showing competencies. He's showing consistencies. You don't get 16 league goals in about 26 games if you're not showing consistencies. And ultimately, that's going to give you confidence to break into Arsenal's team, really. As I said, for me, it's not really the goals. Strikers are judged on goals, of course. It's all that matters. But at the same time, goals are not all that matters at MIKEL Arteta's Arsenal, because Jesus hasn't necessarily been the most prolific. Eddie Nketiah, some of his games I think he did really well and he didn't score. Sometimes he scored, and also away from that, his general performance. So I more look at what Balogun does off the ball. We all know he makes great darting runs to the back post, to the front post. The man lives, breathes, poos goals in it. That's Balogun. And I think he's got even more confident at that. I think his general play is improving as well. Sometimes playing up front, you might not be the guy. You might just need to occupy the centre-backs or take up certain positions so that your teammates can exploit. I think he's showing elements of that as well, really. So he's in the right direction, man. I mean, the man's, 21, 22. I'm not saying he's ever going to be the guy or not ever be the guy, but in today's day and age where youngsters are just judged on, one game, you're a superstar. We see the Sackers, we see the Foldens, people of that ilk, and assume that everyone's going to do that. You have to give the man time. I'm not saying he is or isn't, but you look at Balogun's age and to a degree Eddie Nketiah's age. I keep saying three strikers in particular because at one point they were all top strikers in the world. One still is, and one of the best Premier League strikers, which one still is. At them man's age, where was Harry Kane? Where was Vardy? And where was Aubameyang? Three players that no matter what club, you know what they're on. So I don't think conclusions should be drawn. But at the same time, I also believe people, not everything is a Halen thing. Not everyone can, some people can stay, be around for a couple of years. Some people are going to last the distance. Some people are just going to have to keep it moving. And listen, I wouldn't want to sell Balogun, but if someone gives you 35 to 50 million for someone that's had a great spell out there in France, someone that's played, maybe 10 times for Arsenal Football Club, a couple of times in the league, is that not what the academy is built for? We may look back in the future years and say, boy, we sold him too early. We might look back and say, you know what, that was good business. So truthfully, who knows really and truly. Keep your thoughts coming, people. I'm just wary of continuing this, man. I trust Balogun. It reminds me to Saliba as he back to us on loan. I hear that, Balogun went, before we get on, Middlesbrough, I think he learned a lot under Chris Wilder, even though it weren't exciting. He's built on that. His second loan hit the ground running at Reims. But you look at Saliba, did he not go back to Saint Etienne? He then went to Nice. He went to Marseille. And even that, as great as Saliba has been and is, he's still got them little elements in the game. And I think as we've seen with Eddie Nketiah, whether you rate him or not, and again, there's dynamics at play, it's very difficult to affect the game in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and all of them things. People are going to judge you on the occasional start you get, so it's a difficult one. If Balogun does want to cut the mustard at Arsenal Football Club, he probably does need to concede that, I'm going to have to be patient. For me, ideal world, Balogun gets a new deal. Arsenal sit there and he has an honest conversation with Mikel Arteta, in the summer. What have you done good at Reims? What have you done bad? Where have you improved? This, that, and the other. You sit there and you say to Balogun, yo, listen, I believe in you. You're seeing what I'm doing for Reece. You're seeing what I did for Smith Rowe and Saka. He's from Brazil, but he's Haaland. I don't care. Martinelli, seeing what I'm doing to the young G's. You're seeing what we're doing as a club. You could be a part of this. But reality is, I'm probably going to bring in another attacker, bro. I've got Martinelli who can play up front. I've got Trossard who can play up front. Eddie Nketiah, at least initially, is going to be ahead of you. And Jesus is the big dog. These are the things that go against you. And indirectly, indirectly there's a sense of expectation with Arsenal. We were naming the same squad for the large part of this season, give or take with injuries, and that I think that's allowed relationships to build and ultimately just stronger chance of getting consistent 3 points. I might even bring in a next attacker, and of course continuing with pretending to be MIKEL Arteta. I might even say to him, boy, if Eddie Nketiah was fit today, assuming he had this conversation, he might not be in the matchday squad because there's Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson weren't in the last 2-3 matchday squads prior to the Bournemouth one because of injuries and other people. Where I'd say, boy, whether you're a centre mid, a striker, a winger, there's only so many I can have on the bench. There's a lot of games to be played, injuries, loss of form, all of that jazz. But these are the things at play. I still need to have X amount of defenders and so on and so forth. So Balogun, I hope that he'd play a lot more. But at least until January, he might. I would like to see him. You know what? Let's see what you can do. Cool. But I don't really want too much rotation in the league, or definitely the Champions League, which initially MIKEL Arteta went strong with. So they like you see in this second half of the season, injuries, loss of form, you need squad depth. And Balogun might say, do you know what, bro? I'm young. Couple of players are still in and around. I might sit there a bit like Charlie Patton, or I might say, do you know what, let me go on another loan spell, bide my time. I've been infected with the drug of playing consistent football. I don't want to go back. Also, I think it's very healthy to develop players out of it, because like you see with these young players, when they're at the club, you know, I think a lot of honest fans see them a lot more sane and see them a lot more human, rather than people who are not watching French league. You see clips online, man scored a hat trick, he did this, he did that, but you're not looking at what else he did in the game, really and truly. Sometimes, not saying Balogun, but goals can mask games. When you see them up close and personal, I think people could say, you know what, he's not quite there, really and truly. But also, what you score one goal or you play one good game, you're a superstar. The next game you're not, and then so on and so forth. And I think that healthiness of just going to France, not being Balogun, next Arsenal gem. You're just an Arsenal striker. Reams are trying to do what they're trying to do. Can you score the goals and play to the standard they need to? And so I do think it's healthy to go out on loan. And I don't think there's any rush for Balogun. You know, I think for me, ideal world would be dream world. He's the next Haaland man through the door. He comes next season and he's involved. Next ideal world for me would be you sign a new deal, you go back on loan. We've protected ourselves. Obviously, if there's an offer Arsenal can't refuse, or Balogun says, do you know what, I'm going to leave, I want to play first team football on a permanent basis or somewhere else, make top money, really. For what it's worth, if I was Balogun, I wouldn't be in a rush to sign a new deal anyways, purely because you're contracted until 2025. It's 2023. Within the next 18 months, especially if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be on the agenda, really. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain comes to mind, could go elsewhere for 30-40 million, could be something at Arsenal, it's unknown. Big up Chris from Jamaica. To be honest, DG, Balogun is a finisher and Jesus Christ is a creative striker. They'll blend neatly together. Yeah, but only 11 players can play, man, and the super sub thing can only work so much. We lost 60 million for Aubameyang from Barcelona for being sentimental. 50 million for Balogun, I'll take it quick. As much as I love Xhaka, we need a McAllister profile. I'm tired of seeing moves break down from Xhaka. A bit harsh, you know. Xhaka's the reason we nicked a point at Sporting Lisbon, and he's a big reason as to why we scored, I want to say, Martinelli's goal, but if I remember, Saliba's played it to Xhaka. Xhaka's filled in for Zinchenko. He's advanced forward. He's found Trossard. Bit harsh on Xhaka, but I do think we need to upgrade on the midfield. Tony's alleged disciplinary problems will make Arteta shy away from him. That's why we didn't go for Basuma. What else have we got? DG Balogun has more goals than Eddie and Jesus combined. He needs his chance over both of them. I'm tired of missed chances, merchants. You really think Balogun's not missing chances? Credit to Balogun, but he's got more minutes in you know, it's very easy to start at Reams. Less so here. You know, goals do mask games, really. If we was to do that, so many men got more goals than others, really. But it is something. We know Balogun can score goals. It's what else he does on a football pitch away from scoring goals, really. He does need a chance, but I don't think there should be a conclusion drawn. It was a nice birthday treat for me today. Vincey boy, happy birthday on behalf of everybody here. I'm happy with how Arsenal is playing right now. Let's take this through to the rest of the season. Smash the like button, people. And don't forget, 1:30, I'm here with Fabrice Muamba as well, people. Shameless plug o'clock. But yeah, make sure you're there for that. Set your reminders. Even if you can't be there, please make sure you smash the like button, people. So yeah, keep your thoughts coming. Very interesting talking points. I want to make a timestamp just on the Balogun thing, just because Balogun thoughts. So Balogun will bring next season, just because I think that was a good discussion and that could live on my channel. Scrolling, continuing, people. He did say that On what a clean sheet means, a lot. It's that love for defending, that 11 players need to be committed for 96 minutes. And I saw that again today. It's going to be crucial for us winning games. On the importance of winning the way we did, to me, it does push me to the limit in the Premier League. 1 or 2-0 is not enough. With 3-0, the game changes, yes, because heads drop. There's still a lot to play for in the second half, and we dropped the level a little bit in the first few minutes, which is true. I think the boys had an outstanding performance against a really tough opponent today. It's a day to praise them. On Leandro Trossard, when we talk about composure and finding the right pass and looking to the right player in the box, it's very blurry and other players make rash decisions, and he created 3 goals. He could have scored 2. I think he was really impressive. Not only that, he had the jury only a few days. He had an jury. I think they mean injury only a few days ago, and that injury could have taken a week or 10 days. He was really willing to come back very early. The physios and doctors did really well to do that. That changes things in the team. We needed him today. His contribution was superb. On whether it's important, Leandro has had prior Premier League experience. It's football intelligence. He's really clever to understand straight away what you want, what is required, what is his role, and he's executing it really well. Perfect talent identification to take advantage of his situation at Brighton and obviously bring him to the carpet. Big up DG. Eddie, my guy, and Balogun need to stay. Sell no one. A big Champions League team has to have players missing the bench. Also, loss of form and injuries can come back quick. It's true, but it's probably naive to think everyone's going to get an amount of game time, because you are going to need experience. You know, Balogun's never played in the Champions League. He's barely scraped Europa. So I do believe in these young players, but you got to remember what this beast is. Balogun, he does deserve his shot. Balogun deserves his shot. Get his preseason in. If no minutes guaranteed, loan him to Brighton and everyone will want him back. Afternoon, DG. Glad to know Palace are also playing midweek. We need to continue taking it one game at a time. Our scouts have to do a better job of finding hidden gems earlier before other teams start throwing money at them. Free Balogun and get rid of Eddie. Harsh, man. Big up you on Twitch. We need a striker like Giroud, someone dynamic in the air and can link up with others. Ivan Toney is that guy. The thing is, Ivan Toney, because he's a Premier League proven player, because he's one of the best strikers in the Premier League at this moment, and he's doing quite well. He's, you know, what would you lot put on him on evaluation? He's got his best years in front of him in his peak powers. And on top of that, whatever his transfer fee is going to be, even though Brentford, maybe not so much now, but have shown that they can buy new strikers and things like that. You know, let's just say he's worth 50 million. He might be worth even more personally to Brentford because of what he gives Thomas Frank on the team, for the team, what he does at the club. The fact is, as great as Brentford are at selling, you know, strikers, Mupé, Ben Rama, Ivan Toney could go for big money, identifying him from Peterborough, a couple of others, Watkins. They're going to have to spend a bag for another one, really. And, you know, it's going to cost a lot, really, unless they found the next striker for 10 mil and they do a thing. They probably braced. I'm sure Ivan Toney wants to play at a higher level and things. I would take Ivan Toney tomorrow. I just think he'll be too much. Trossard being exactly the exact opposite of Pepe, the cleverness or ability and willingness to learn what is being asked of him and execute it. I think it's a bit harsh on Pepe, even though I agree it's that Trossard, what you see is what you get. Like, he's gone through his footballing education. You know, it's just a thing where he fits what we want to do historically as an Arsenal football club to a T. He fits what Arteta wants. Wavy players always play even wavier with wavy dons. He does that. He knows what he can do. He knows what he can't do. He knows what he should and shouldn't do. He knows how to mix it up. Pepe was still at the development age. I beg you, if any of you want, go and find my first few videos on Pepe. Do you know how much people were criticizing my opinions on Pepe and Lacazette? I told you Lacazette would never score 20 league goals in the Premier League, not because I'm discrediting him, just because I'm going off what I see. And I told, man, Pepe is Bandulu. He's a lit player, but for them 18 months, he was really good and really had a standout. He don't really understand what's demanded of him tactically. Obviously, on ability, just raw ability, I don't think it's I think it's very close, him and Trossard. But when you consider it's not always how you are at your best, sometimes it's how you are at your worst, the level of consistency, how you can play when things go well. You know, Trossard is better in tight spaces. If you give Trossard a lot of space, he'll rip you, but he's better in tight spaces, plays with his head up a lot more than Pepe as well. So these things were always going to shag him, if I'm honest with you. But nonetheless, you're right. On whether the boss would have expected 100 wins today, I don't know. I'm really happy that we won today. It's the 100th, and hopefully there will be many more. It's earning those wins and having a team that you feel that follow us in everything that we try to do. You feel you can identify with that, and for me, that's the most important thing. On Gabriel Jesus returning, it's a big boost. His first steps today, and we didn't know whether it was the right game for him today. A few days ago, he told me he was missing something, and then yesterday, he looked me in my eyes and told me he was ready. And then today we had the opportunity to throw him in because it's the first step to give him the boost. He looked free and generated 2 big chances straight away, and it's good to have him back. It's a shame that he couldn't have bagged, really. It would have been a lovely return and in his first game this year for Arsenal Football Club. It's been a long time, innit? On if he would have been chanting with our away supporters, I'd be singing with them to support them. That's for sure. They've been exceptional. The amount of people that are coming here, their attitude, their passion, and the energy they're putting in is incredible. We're going to need that, and that's a game changer for us. So thank you. On who Jesus could replace in our starting 11, I mean, probably it's a sheg, but probably Trossard. You know, Trossard sometimes, and I think we've done it quite well when players have been in good form. We've played them. It's a sheg, but probably Trossard or Martinelli. But I would probably say Trossard. I feel Trossard's been very good. I think Martinelli's getting back to his best, and at the moment he's probably more so of a match winner than Trossard. Saka's not going to lose his place. So it's probably Trossard or Martinelli. I'd be happy with either one because you see Martinelli can sometimes come out of the fold, get a rest. I'd probably imagine it would be Jesus, it would be Trossard. You know, we can get back to that Brazilian partnership. Jesus, in my opinion, makes Martinelli play better. They do that rotation stuff. So I think it'd be that, but we need good options. You know, if Odegaard weren't doing his thing and you couldn't drop Trossard could go in the 10. And then hopefully Smith Rowe can get back to his best and you get me, arc some problems. I wouldn't begrudge MIKEL Arteta if he kept the team the same. You know, let Jesus really get back up to speed. It's not that form and players are inconsistent. We're struggling. You know, that's one thing. Even though Trossard and Jorginho have hit the ground running, had we have signed someone like Mudryk, I think they would have fared a lot better at Arsenal because from January we weren't necessarily relying on you like that. So I'd keep the team the same. But for me also, once Jesus is fit, he slides back in. You'd imagine, you know, Jesus gets a couple days to train. I'd imagine Jesus starts against Sporting on Thursday, doesn't play 90 minutes. Obviously, if he does, it's a good look, but I think he would come off and then we switch our attentions to Crystal Palace on the Sunday, I believe. So it's true. On if Jesus' absence showed a different side of our attack, yes, because players have kept scoring. We haven't sat there and gone, oh, we missed this guy, we missed that guy in the third. So 100%, it has people, really and truly. Now he needs to earn his place like anyone else in the team. And I think, obviously, if you go back to when he was bigging up Eddie Nketiah and how he deputized for Jesus, Arteta specifically said the problem is we only have one striker, and that was when Trossard was signed. A fully fit Jesus plays, but we need to be careful with him. Now he needs to earn his place like anyone else in the team. We have alternatives that can play in different positions, and we have different roles to fill in relation to the chemistry of the players and what we ask them to do. It's a great problem to have, believe me. You know, Arsenal have had a lot of bad problems. That's a good one. Yes, we try to adapt to the qualities that we have to play to our strengths and the positions that we want them in as much as possible. Leao has very different qualities to Diaby and Martinelli, as well as complements him really well in terms of space and understanding. It's great that we have that versatility in the team. Please make sure you're smashing the like button, people. Also, make sure 1:30, hour and 6 minutes, people. We'll, you know, I'm going to be live with Fabrice Mwamba on if it was our best first half performance of the season. It's up there, but then you look at Crystal Palace, you look at Brentford, you look at Chelsea, probably some others, really. Slightly Leicester, could I say Leicester, although defensively we're moving mad. Good problems to have. We'll be here all day. Good question. I don't know because it's really tough when you play every 3 days. You travel to Europe, you come back and see the energy, the quality and the understanding, the willingness to go there again and be really dominant. It was really impressive, to be fair. On Pep Guardiola's comments that we're the favourites for the title, my man starting his nonsense, people. I've got Pep's comments here as well. Pep starting the dark arts thing, this Alex Ferguson thing. We can't watch what he's saying. He said, I don't know. We just discussed what we discussed internally to be really humble, to work on the next training session and try to be better every day. That's our focus. There's still a huge part of the season to be completed. On his conversation with Jesus at full time, I was so happy. He put a lot in the last few months and all the staff spent so many hours together to try to fulfill all his needs. He wanted more and more and more. He was very willing to get back. Just to see him there with a smile on his face was just a joy. And I was really happy for him and the team was really happy for him. So big up the players, them as well. But that is an end to that. Arsenal have one thing Manchester City do not have. He's, again, master of the mind games. Let's see what Pep said. Still, Arsenal are the favourites because they're in front. They have 5 points in front. I don't look at the league table. In many ways, being the hunted is not better than being the hunter. They have made an incredible first leg of the season. They dropped a little bit, but they came back. They have had many years not winning the Premier League, so this extra wins you games in the 93rd, 98th minute. Are you talking about added on time? Tell people stop wasting time against us. You know, so that is something they have that we don't have because we won back-to-back 2 times. So again, Pep all season has been kind of questioning the ability of his players, of their work rate, of their desire. Let's not forget, as much as he's a great man manager, he's a great motivator. Everything Pep Guardiola says, there's a method to his madness. He's playing games. I think you lot are the favourites because you're the hunters versus the hunted. You lot have been there and done it, really, whether players have done it at the club or not. That's why when people say, what is your opinion about the team or the season after 2 wins, back-to-back titles against one team who made 50 points in the first leg, we are still there. Obviously, he's playing mind games. What he's saying privately is something different. Normally in this country, when you win something a lot and you start to not start well a season, or someone is maybe better, you drop it. You are not this consistency. And we are still here, still there. Sorry, this is the best trophy and compliment that we can have. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season, but still they know that we want to be there and we will fight to be there, and this is great. Fair enough, Pep. But if you would be kind enough to let your protege Mikel Arteta win a title, we'd all be grateful, man. It's about time this club started roaring again. This football club is beautiful, absolutely stunning, and thankfully, because of Mikel Arteta and the players, she's reminded herself just how stunning she is. It's been absolutely amazing, people, in that regard. Let's say from minute 10 to minute 5, Mikel Arteta press conference / Pep says Arsenal FAVS for title. Sorry, people, I just care a lot about not only you lot tuned in, smash the like button, but people watching this on a replay. So I tried to get the timestamps done. We've pretty much filled all the gaps in our squad now. The task ahead is a difficult and harsh one, upping the levels by whittling down and replacing with level raising additions, which is true. If Tini can accept being a sideman or mixing it in, why not? Elise agenda forever for that pen. I don't care if he's wavy. How can we be favourites when we don't even look at the league table? I like the idea of adding more time to the 90 minutes so players can stop purposely wasting time. What a result. Told you Saka needs a rest. I wouldn't say Saka needs a... Well, he does need a rest in general, but I don't think he looked like he needed a rest yesterday. It just weren't your day. But it'd be nice if we could rest him. But at the same time, if we're fighting for this Premier League title, allegedly, and trying to do what we can in the Europa League, especially on Thursday, well, on paper, we should have enough if Saka plays or not to get something over the line against Sporting. When is this rest coming from? And also, while I agree with you, and players do need saving from themselves, if the medical men, etc., have assured the player he's fully fit, fair enough, injuries can happen at any time. And also, who's told you these players want to be rested? If you're a footballer and you're in a season and having a great season like this, why would you want it to stop? And this is Saka must be loving this even more because it's the first season. It's not just you, like, really and truly. Saka most definitely needs a rest before he gets complete burnout. I agree generally. The amount of games he's playing, the over-reliance on him could come back to haunt him. This is what happens when we fail to get a backup for him in the window. The likes of Holding and Nelson, probably Turner should be the first to go. I hear you. If you could upgrade on Turner, why not? But then, it's very difficult to find a backup goalie. So I think Turner's cool where he is. Nelson looks like he'll probably get a new deal. Holding day's probably done. But I think we have to look at the likes of Eddie and Nketiah, Tierney, Granit, even Smith Rowe. Leave Smith Rowe out of that. Eddie and Nketiah and Tierney, anything can happen. Granit Xhaka, I do think we need a curtain raiser, but I wouldn't get rid of Granit Xhaka yet. I think, as I always say, experience is overrated, but it can't be overstated. And we can't just rock up with a bunch of kids next season where there's a degree of expectation and teams are going to kind of find us out a bit more. And obviously in the Champions League, we need that blend. And obviously you can't have a mad turnover like that. Gradually, within the next 3 years, including now, of course, your over-reliance on the Elnenes, Jorginhos, Granits, it needs to fizzle out as other players rise up to the occasion, really. And not just that, you want to see, as much as I think experience is on age, you look at Odegaard, Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, these kind of guys. Also for Ramsdale, based on him playing in the Prem couple years. Benjamin White's actually fairly experienced, inexperienced, but also fairly experienced. So, yeah. Really and truly, but I'm probably trying to keep Tierney unless he makes it clear he wants to leave, because you're gonna have to buy a new left back. Smith Rowe stays regardless. Eddie and Nketiah shown you can be a good squad player, but if there's money to make, why not? Even though I'd probably keep him. And yeah, Granit, I think even if we bring in another midfielder, he has to stay, man. Can't just get rid of everyone. You can't just have massive turnovers. You look at what Chelsea's doing. Just too many players, and then you kind of have to indirectly start again. Is it just me that looks down at Spurs, Chelsea, and United fans as peasants? I don't even look for their results anymore. I don't look down on no one, really. I don't look at the league table. I don't know if Arsenal have to look up or down. I just know there's 11 games left to go, man. I see Pepe's father tried to tell us all. He said exactly what time it was. He tried to tell everybody. Smash the like button if you haven't, people. It's appalling, man. We've only got 61 likes and there's 100 of you locked in. Not quite sure why. One sec. Why is it in it? Oh, it's in sport. I thought it said entertainment. That would have been mad. Afternoon, gang. I'm enjoying that. Instead of talking about who needs selling at Arsenal to now debating who's going to be the third place striker, let's take time to talk about the Saliba pass to Xhaka that led to the second goal. I think I've spoken about it a lot, people. You know, you can check out my technical analysis of the game after this live stream. I spoke on that and praised him. What a player Saliba is. There's two things I wish happened on top of what happened yesterday. Granit Xhaka, I wish he scored. I don't know if he tried to take an extra touch or go around Leno, but that was a fantastic move. And would have loved Martinelli to score with that great save from Leno. And that effort from Saliba. I mean, we're moving, man. I don't know who told him to shoot. Thomas Partey inspired. It was obviously didn't hit the target, but good effort. Still amazes me that we only have 2 penalties this season. There's clearly a conspiracy against Arsenal. They don't want us to shine. But what I like about that is we're getting over and done with. When you're fighting City for the league title and it could come down to fine margins, 2 extra points after having a goal disallowed against goal incorrectly not disallowed against Brentford could be of use. We probably still would have lost at Old Trafford because I think United were better than us, but I could argue goals change games. Had Martinelli's goal at the time stood, it's a different game. Don't know why we didn't get a penalty against Southampton, but we should keep it moving. There's also been times like you saw against Leicester and actually Bournemouth where VAR's gone against us, but we've got the job done. I'm not saying this right, but kind of control the variables we can control. And that's just winning the games, because half the time, even a penalty in the Southampton game, half the time, let's be real, we should, right decisions are right decisions. We should be getting these decisions, people. But at the same time, if we're real with ourselves, we haven't done enough in those games. Yes, we should have got those decisions, but we haven't done enough to win those. Bournemouth, we said, you know what, we're going to get this one done. We didn't necessarily do that in the last one. So we just have to keep going, man. But yeah, big up Saliba for that. To be honest, DG, we barely got a team, let alone a squad. This is where Edu and Vinay are not doing justice to the club because January window is living proof. Bit harsh. You look at January a year ago to now, bit harsh. Yeah, we failed to bring in the Mudriks, the Felixes, the Caicedos and them guys there. But Jorginho, whether Jorginho is going to be great for this club or not, so far he's justified his price tag. Trossard, it's like he's always been part of the furniture. So I think you have to give them credit where due. Of course, you look at the summer window, the January window, and actually the last 2 years, we do a lot of good work, but we don't quite get everything done. The next step for for the summer, can we find curtain raisers? Can you get MIKEL Arteta his top targets? Can you find suitable backup targets? Can we get better at selling if I didn't make that clear as well? Really. So there's a lot we can do and get everything done. Because as I said, we always do a lot, but there's never anything quite done. No way Trossard should take a back seat to Jesus. Keep the team the same. Jesus should come in for Saka. Less at that. Will getting Osimhen for a big transfer fee have the same result as Lukaku to Chelsea? We have to continue to be shrewd with our additions. It depends, every signing takes a risk. You can buy a shrewd addition, which you could argue Willian, Cedric and Marie were. And obviously, if they're not, and Aubameyang's new contract, but if they're not doing the job, it becomes expensive. You can spend big money and obviously it fails. Every signing's a risk. No matter how much homework, how much things you do, every signing is a risk, really. At the time, we took a gamble on Benjamin White. Internally, the club weren't phased, but 50 million off the back of one Premier League season. People were talking, why are you spending 30 million on a relegation threatened goalkeeper? So it all depends, really. 2 of our best players on when they're fit, Smith Rowe, no one could tell me nothing, and Saka didn't cost this club a penny. Martinelli didn't cost much. So it all depends, really and truly. It really depends. Thoughts so far on Vieira getting more game time recently? Want to see it because that means you're convincing Mikel Arteta bit by bit. I'm going to give him next season. I'm not saying he's ever going to be the absolute star of Arsenal Football Club and things, but I like Fabio Vieira. I think, he's been playing catch up since August with his injury. Obviously, for any player that's emerged at this football club in the last 12 months, you've had to be patient because the team, in the last season, bit of this season, everybody's been doing all right. Fabio Vieira, Xhaka's been playing out of his skin. Saka's missed the right wing where you've been on. Obviously, you've got Odegaard, the big dog, and a fit Smith Rowe probably in front of you in that 10 role. So there isn't much game time, but I like Fabio Vieira. I'd say, could he bulk up a bit physically? Probably. He's a great magician. I don't know how he got a free kick yesterday for not being touched, but fair enough. Go and get that one. I like Fabio Vieira. I like the fact that he wants to shoot. I like his technical level. I didn't think he grabbed his opportunity. He was better against Sporting Lisbon, I feel. Don't think he grabbed his opportunity against Bournemouth. Neither did Tomiyasu. I gave him a 4 out of 10. Watching the game again, I gave him a 5. I think, he keeps things ticking over. But It needs to become your show, really. That's how you force yourself into the pecking order. That's kind of what Reece Nelson's done twice this season against Forest and Bournemouth. Eddie Nketiah's grabbed this spot. Trossard, since he signed, in the minutes he's got, he's always impacted. You go back to the minutes against, his first start against in the FA Cup against City. His minutes against, he didn't do well in the start against City, but did okay. Obviously, way before he got 3 assists and a disallowed goal against Leicester, you saw him do quite well off the bench against Man United. Clearly, depending on the level of experience you have, the position you play, these things can go for or against you. So every signing's a risk, essentially, man. And there's just no way of telling, but anything can go wrong. But what I would say, as long as Mikel Arteta and the technical staff have identified targets and how they can improve, that's enough for me, innit? Really, of course, we've got things wrong. Even Edu and Arteta have had to mop up the previous regime's work. But of course, them lot have got things wrong. And it's like going to a hedge fund. It's like you being a certain high net worth individual, go into a hedge fund because you want to invest your money. That hedge fund telling you they have 100% success rate. They've never ever lost a deal. They've never made a bad decision. That don't make sense. If a football manager's told you he's never lost a game, I don't trust him. If a chef's told me he's never cut his hand, I don't trust him. It don't make sense. So things are going to happen, really. I would say L's of Mikel Arteta's tenure at this football club. Cedric, 100 grand a week, putting more energy into selling him than he put on the football field. Pablo Mari, stock gaps that quite frankly did not work for us. Again, I might be wrong, but did we sign Runnison under Mikel Arteta? Somebody's got, not just Arteta, somebody's got to hold that L. Obviously, it's not done yet, but Lokonga, what's going to happen there? Tavares, clearly at L, what's going to happen there? So there's been things guys have got wrong, but his success rate is more successful than not. So it's enough for me if Mikel Arteta wants these individuals, really. Then we praise or critique where we see fit. Again, the jury's still out on Jorginho to some of you, but a lot of people didn't even give the man a chance before he kicked the football. We all know his strengths. We all know his weaknesses. Up until a few weeks ago, he's probably our best performing central midfielder. Off topic, it's lovely to see Thomas Partey really performing again as well, people. So it is what it is in that regards, man. If we get the likes of Rice and McAllister next season, Smith Rowe needs a loan move to Brighton and Brentford should suffice. He'll be all right. Don't you worry about Smith Rowe. The only way is if we can't stay fit and we do what we did with Jack Wilshere to Bournemouth, but forget that. Trossard and Martinelli crossover is cooking. We don't need Jesus missing big chances every game. Jesus should start in the Europa League to rest Trossard. I mean, he's got a way to get back in, but they've both missed chances. Trossard missed opportunities yesterday. Martinelli misses a bag of them. The best strikers miss a lot of chances. You just got to have the faith to go again, really. Jesus can play right wing if Saka ain't playing well, can put him there. If anything, nice to have options. Now, I'd agree with that. There's a comment. Somebody said, right now, I would like a straight answer, DG. Ooh, what's this? You see us winning the Premier League this season. What do you define as see? I can't, as you know, a week, a day, a month is a long time in football. There's been a lot of football played with Arsenal and the Premier League. There's been a lot of talking points. So how can I see 11 games? I don't know. I don't know where we are in the league table. I just look what's in front of me. I don't look past my nose. And right now, that's Sporting Lisbon and Crystal Palace. If Arsenal want that to be a conversation, then we just need to keep doing what we're doing, winning games, and just seeing where we're at in the come game week 38. So I don't know who's winning anything. I ain't got a crystal ball. I'm not that so Raven. I don't know. I'm just happy to be enjoying the ride and enjoying what Arsenal Football Club is doing. Hopefully, this becomes our season every year now. From the school of Arsene Wenger. We might have to sell Turner by force if another Premier League team offers him first team football. Maybe because in America, the reports keep coming out, oh, he needs to play first team football, but I don't think Turner's going to go anywhere. And you're going to have to buy a backup goalie. Again, I would like us. And again, obviously, you can deal with multiple things in the window. But if we're going to sell players and then have to replace them, can we either get those replacements in first or deal with what we need to do? In an ideal world for me, get the central midfield addressed early. If you can bring in a winger, a striker, or anything like that, get that addressed early. Probably need another right back. Mikel Arteta, get Fresnadar, whoever in early. Tierney, if you want to go, cool. We're not going to make it easy for Newcastle. Give us X, Y, Z. Have we got that new left back lined up? And anybody else who wants to keep it moving, that would be me. If you start selling the Tierneys and the Turners, and even if you was to sell Eddie and Balogun says, I want to go out on loan, you leave yourself short, really and truly. So can we just keep addressing other areas before we start, putting more holes, quote unquote, within the squad would be it for me, if I'm honest. Type it in. Pepe's that. All right, you know what? Let me try to find it. It's been years ago, really, isn't it? Really. Pepe, wait, Nicholas Pepe's dad. He just basically said he needs to be a lot more mature and understand football's a job and that. And a lot of what he said actually transpires into real life. Where is it? Is this it? My son has a lot of qualities, but he still has a lot of work. He must be more consistent in his game, more serious. He must understand this is not fun. It's his job. And is there anything else his dad said? Where is it? That's all I can find at this moment in time, my guy. Yeah. And that's something that, quote unquote, kind of plagued him. Bit harsh. I love Smith Rowe, but I worry he doesn't fit our system. If we bring an 8 in the summer, like McAllister, for example, I struggle to see where Emil gets game time, considering Nelly and Trossard have left wing on lock. I hear that, and you're not wrong. But who had that position last year? Martinelli was second fiddle. And there'll be times where it all fluctuates. You know, you're the number 10 of a club aspiring to get back into the get back into the big time. This is what's going to happen. Long term, I think he will be a left-sided 8 and he could perform. There's enough game time. Mikel Arteta likes you. The only thing that goes against him is if you're injured all the time, things go against you. But you wouldn't be here. I think Smith Rowe poses questions to Trossard and Martinelli and all these guys because they've all had times where they lost form. I'm not saying you, S. But a few weeks ago, drop Martinelli, get rid of him, man. Well, not get rid, but and he's dropping. What happened? That Xhaka miss was the type of goal Wilshere was born to score. True. Would love Declan Rice at Arsenal, but money, man. To finish the sentence, they are title decider factors. What's your thought on this? Not too sure. I can't see any other comment there, my guy. Big up DG. Time for Arteta and Arsenal to be ruthless. Buy a gunman for up front and then sell Eddie or reloan Balogun. Get a Xhaka replacement. Get Zinni back up. Buy a White back up, in my opinion. I hear that. If Arsenal win the league, Rice joins and so does Osman. I mean, if you got them on the phone and they've told you that, fair enough. Smash the like button, people. Don't forget, 1:30, we're here with Muamba as well. If they've told you that, fair enough, innit? But I would say, to some players out there, if you didn't want to be around for the struggle, you're not coming around for the litness. If you weren't with us when we were struggling to get water, don't try and drink the Hennessy that Arteta's got. You're not around no more. If we could only buy 2 players, who should we get? I'm not too sure, but central midfield, 6 and an 8, if nothing more. Morning fire. Fabio just needs adjustment to a new country, new league. And when you consider that, he's been all right so far. He's been calm, man. I think we all love the squad depth. Does Benny go back to centre-back or stays as our right-back? Personally, he should go back to centre-back and we'll get a Kyle Walker type right-back that can attack and defend without the public disorder, of course. It's good problems. I do think Benjamin White will have his fair share of playing centre-half for Arsenal Football Club, but he looks a lot better at right-back over 90 minutes. You know, he can defend, but I think he's more of a... Out of the defenders, he's more on the 5-a-side thing. I think there's a better level of focus with Gabriel and Saliba. I think they're slightly more on defending. I think Benjamin White's on S-Housery. He's on defending. He will go forward as well. Keep doing what you can, innit, really. In today's day and age, you got to be multifunctional. There might come a time, God forbid, Saliba has a loss of form. Gabriel has a loss of form. There's injuries. Benjamin White comes in. You know, it could, you know, God forbid, if Gabriel misses out, you know, and can't play against Sporting, for me personally, you'd have to consider actually Tomiyasu could play centre half, but putting Tomiyasu right back and putting either Saliba and Benjamin White together. You know, big up Kirio, but right now, if it's a must-win game across 90 minutes and that happens, I'm not sure that's the best option. Rob Holding can come in and do a job. Big up Rob, but there's a significant drop-off now. So yeah, good options, man. Benfica. I think you mean Porto, bro. Partey was outstanding. His composure allows Trossard and Odegaard to play. Tough decision for man of the match. Boschart probably nicks it. I think Prinny has to get it. Man got 3 assists in it. Everybody was good. I think Gabriel and Saliba was superb. I think Zinni watching the game again was good as well. I think Odegaard was good. Yeah, man. I think Ramsdale did what he needed to do. But you can't look past Trossard, man. Come on. 3 assists. Jorginho price tag worth it purely off that Villa goal alone. Jay, you're like me. I appreciate you. You're shamelessly crediting Jorginho with that and not a Martinez own goal. Strikers finish. Do you think Jesus should start against Sporting or should we stick with Trossard with a false 9? I'm starting Jesus. It's a time to give him some minutes in the legs going into Crystal Palace. I don't know where he plays, whether that's dropping Saka, putting him off the left and playing him with Trossard. Maybe it's a chance to cheat the game a bit and put Martinelli off the bench and let him impact the game. I don't know, man. Right, it's the trips to Anfield, Etihad are the different. Bro, we've got a lot of tough games. There's 11 cup finals to play. You still got to go to Newcastle. You still got to welcome Chelsea. You know, you still got to play City. You still got to play Newcastle, if I haven't made that clear. There's a couple of teams fighting for their lives as well. I think we got Brighton. No, we don't. I'm capping about Brighton. I think we still got Wolves to come. Smith Rowe, our number 10, it ain't over till it's over. Big up DJ as well. Most interesting Arsenal content for the past year. Print, that's a massive praise, man. Thank you, bro. And thank you to everyone across Twitch and YouTube. Last week, someone I work with bet me £50 United would finish above Arsenal. Would you take that? Well, yeah, because he don't like money. We can definitely win the Premier League. The potential is there. They just have to remain focused. But this is the EPL. Anything can happen. 17 games to go. 17 wins. League and Europa League winners. Lovely jubbly, by God's grace. I hate it when these online people want you to pick a side. Like, we ain't been in the mud and seen this club fail for almost 20 years. Man, I'm looking for clips. Listen, just got to keep just got to keep working. Got to do the politician thing, man. One step closer to top four. Bro, we've stayed in the league. You know, we get 70 points. We're in top four. Let's just keep working. Anything beyond that, let's just keep working, winning games and taking advantage of what other teams are doing or not doing. That's how we got here with this Arsenal title talk, right? I would take either Vlahovic or Leao at striker this summer at Arsenal if Osimhen isn't available. If it's purely on being a striker, Vlahovic, because he is a striker. Leao could be reverted there, but he looks like he's best off the left wing. And if there's anywhere up front that, pardon me, sees like there's a wealth of options, it's probably off the left-hand side. You've got Martinelli, you've got a fit Smith Rowe, you can move Jesus over there, you have got Trossard. Obviously, some options can play on the right wing. Up front, you've got limited options. You've got the thought of Balogun. He's not within the squad at this moment. So it's only pure strikers, Jesus and Eddie and Nketiah. Then you can mix and match false nines, as we've seen Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe under MIKEL Arteta have played there. Martinelli and Trossard have filled in. Right wing, obviously, you've also got Reece Nelson on the left, can play off the right as well. Right wing, really, it's just Saka and inshallah. Some people should keep, the comment's gone. Some people should keep in mind we need a certain amount of homegrown players. Amen. You know, Holding could leave, but who actually classifies as homegrown? I mean, surely Tierney does. He was technically born in England, even though he's from Scotland. So asterisk next to Tierney. I'm sure one of you said a few weeks ago something with Saliba. He starts to become classified as a homegrown player. Obviously, you've got Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Eddie Nketiah, asterisk over Reece Nelson, asterisk over Balogun. I don't know if I've said Rob Holding, Benjamin White and Ramsdale, obviously. Not sure if Martinelli starts to classify as that. Don't think that's the case. Who else is there? I must have missed someone. Ramsdale. Let me think of pure English players. Ramsdale, Smith Rowe, that's one. Smith Rowe, Ramsdale, Ben White, Rob Holding, Bukayo Saka, Reece Nelson, asterisk, Balogun, asterisk, Eddie Nketiah. And I don't know if Saliba's one gets to count soon. I remember someone saying that. I personally can't verify that. I just don't know. 86 likes. We're flirting with 100, man. Vlahovic curved us and is now stinking out in the Turin. He can hold that. Brighton at home. Yeah, so yeah, we still have Brighton. These Fugazi teams, man. Vlahovic is meaty. Boy, would love to see Trossard and Jesus together pulling defenders out of position. We do have Brighton. So yeah, you got Forest, Brighton, Wolves teams that, you know, Brighton's a bogey team. They're going to want revenge. You know, I want revenge because they did us dirty at the Emirates last year. If we lose against City, don't affect us that much. Just need to win other games. I hear that, but I do think, you know, you need to be perfect in every game you've got 9 times out of 10. We are going to drop points. They are going to drop points. And I think you need to take 3 points off City, if I'm honest with you. Why? Everyone should be worried for Forest away, but this is the Premier League. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I'm not trying to count him. So, yeah, Tierney doesn't classify as homegrown, although he's born in England. Not sure how that works. Ainsley, I'm trying to air players that are not at the club. So, Ainsley and Balogun, asterisks, because they're not in the first team right now. And I don't know if they're going to be involved next year. Could probably put asterisks over Reece Nelson because on paper, his contract is running down. Hey, DG, been watching your content since the days you were sitting on the bench doing shows. Cameron, one love. Shout out my Soho Square ones. DG, did you see what the Bilbao fans did in their game with Barcelona? Nope. What was it? And is it something that's going to spoil my mood? I don't know. Lovely talking points. We have difficult away games. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Brighton, Newcastle, Forest, Leeds, Southampton. We've played Southampton and Leeds already. Thank God. Actually, well, we've got Southampton at home. I don't know. It feels like we've played them already, but we might have Southampton at home. We definitely have Leeds at home. Ain't that coming up after Palace? 17 cup finals ahead to win both the Europa and Premier League. So nothing's decided. You know, we've seen already over the past month, or just in general, football's an emotional game. We just need to keep going. It's all right to dream. It's all right to have aspirations, but we just have to keep ahead of ourselves. The past brings regret. The future brings uncertainty. There's no time like the present. Word to Arsene Wenger. Let's see what the transfer news is saying, people, as we look at certain nonsenses. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. If I share my screen with you lot, let's see. First time round. Oh, it's not actually sharing. Let's actually start with a player that's still at Arsenal Football Club and a new recruit himself. Big up Jesus. He says, it feels like I never left. Yeah, because we're still winning games, man. Specifically said, so happy to be back and it feels like I never left. What a win from this group. Let's go Gunners. Arteta said it's a big boost to have him back. The first step today, we didn't know if it was the right game. He said to me a few days ago, and I'm still missing something. Yesterday, I looked him in his eyes and he said, I'm ready. I said, okay, it's great to have him back, but he has to earn his place like in any other team, which is fair. We have alternatives who can play in different positions and we have different goals as well to fill in rotation to the chemistry of the players, what we asked them to do. It's a great problem to have, believe me. We tried to adapt to the quality of the players that we have to put them in their strengths and positions where we want as much as possible. Leao has very different qualities to Gabby. Odegaard complements him really well in terms of space and understanding with him. It's great to have that versatility. Fair enough. Arsenal initiate talks for lethal Bundesliga start after Fabrizio Romano drops bombshell 2-year claim. Let's see if the headline matches up. Fabrizio Romano has revealed Arsenal have been interested in buying Leverkusen winger Moussa Diaby for 2 years, while another journalist claims the Gunners have begun talks, people. Let's see exactly what has been said for the 8th time capped French international. What has exactly been said? Over the weekend, German football expert Christian Falk detailed Arsenal's interest in Diaby and Borussia Dortmund midfielder Diaby and Brandt. He revealed how Arsenal have begun discussions with Diaby's agents as they look to make progress on a summer transfer. I've today, in brackets Friday, been in Leverkusen to meet Rudi Voller and Florian Wirtz, who is a target of many clubs in Europe, but has decided to stay in Leverkusen minimum till 2024 for the European Championship. When I entered the lift in Bayern Leverkusen's club centre, Simon Roos, Bayern Leverkusen's sporting director, was already in. He told me he saw many rumours about the Premier League interest in 6 of his, several of which I wrote about in my last column. He joked that he now has a lot of work to do because of that. One player in this column, was Moussa Diaby. Arsenal still have an interest in Diaby. The Bayern Leverkusen stars agents are in contact with the club. However, it's worth noting that the Gunners are also interested in Dortmund's Diaby and Brandt. The club has yet to make a final decision on that front. Apparently Romano said Arsenal have appreciated Moussa Diaby for a long time. It's almost 2 years following him, but the same happened with other clubs, including Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle. Bayern Leverkusen wanted to keep him last summer, and in January for this summer, it would depend on the value of proposals. So we'll have to see. He's not going to cost, he's not going to cost cheap. It's going to cost a lot, really. So we're going to have to see in that regards. Don't forget, 1:30, I'm having Mwamba for an hour or so. Smash the like button on that one as well and set your reminders. That will be on YouTube and Twitch. Keeping up the theme, contact made with wingers agents. Once again, they're saying the same things, people. We don't know, contracts, agents and contacts being made with clubs are actually not that groundbreaking. They do it all the time. Arsenal now monitoring 17 million aggressive midfielder Newcastle too. Apparently, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal are competing with Antonio Conte's. Is it going to be his Tottenham Hotspur for long? Eric Ten Hag's Man United and Eddie Howe's Newcastle United, among other clubs, for the signing of João Paulinho from Fulham in the summer transfer window. Apologies. The report in the British tabloid has claimed that Man United, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Tottenham are all monitoring him. He signed for 17 million in the summer. He's now valued at around 40 million. It's good that he weren't there. Very tenacious and tough tackling man. I'm not too sure if we really are looking at him, but 27 years of age, there are some strengths he could bring to the team, really. AC Milan are worried they can't afford Haylen Star. AC Milan, if you ain't got money, get out of here. I want a Lambo. I can't buy that. So what am I going to the Lamborghini dealership for? If you want these Haylen demons, AC Milan, come with top whack or get out of here. Because if we tried to buy a young Italian lad, you look at the English clubs as they've got money, and that goes for the foreign teams. No one's cutting us any deals, so forget all of that. AC Milan are reportedly worried they will no longer be able to afford the signing of Balogun if the striker continues to break records at Reims. The Italian Giants are keen to sign the 21-year-old England youth international, it should say, after a sensational year in France with the Ligue 1 side, with Balogun scoring 16 league goals for the season last weekend. He's become the first Englishman since Glenn Hoddle to reach this figure in the division. If you're next to Hoddle for anything, you're doing all right, people. So yeah, apparently he's already valued at 34 million, 40 million euros, people, and apparently their neighbours Inter Milan have also been interested. So we'll have to see. But good praise for our young man. Once again, this has said that he's been linked with AC Milan and obviously Inter Milan. So we'll have to see. And he set a new record with his winning goal against Monaco. Keep it up, man. Keep it up. Making history. 26 goals from 16 goals, from 26 appearances, people. He's become the youngest player to score at least 16 goals in Liga in his first campaign since 1960-61. Great stuff. Liga doing what it needs to do. Milan and Inter set sights on Balogun, once again saying the same things. I'm not too sure if Inter Milan will make that happen. And if you go Inter, if they re-sign Lukaku or anyone else and have Litoro, I'm not too sure what they do for you. AC Milan, Giroud and Zlatan couldn't be there forever, so it would make sense. Victor Rowe to reject Arsenal as free scoring Brazilian wonder kid eyes dream Barcelona move, people. Edu Gaspar had open talks with Atletico Paranaense, but the player has his heart set on a move to Spain to join Barcelona. The 18-year-old, he's quite a good player. I think he's got as much potential as Hendrick personally. So yeah, that one's dead in the water, really and truly. So why waste any more time on such? He's rejected several clubs, that says. So yeah, there you have that. This article, people, I was just reading this in my free time, but it did say the possibility of relegation means that neither Suleiman nor Kirinsky can contemplate an ownership change before summer. That is almost certain to see Declan Rice leave West Ham. The England midfielder is determined to compete at the highest level and is likely to join Arsenal. West Ham have not convinced Rice that they're progressing, and it's gone on to talk about the fact that they've not spent well, really. Stats suggest Arsenal's success is down to something very different from their rivals in the transfer market. Analysis from the Telegraph shows that Arsenal's recent signings have come mainly from Premier League clubs, with key players like Ben White, Aaron Ramsdale, Gabriel Jesus, and Zinchenko, Jorginho, and Trossard all among the recent purchases to join from other English clubs. As you can see in the Telegraph's graphic below, 43% of Arsenal's transfers between 2020 and 2023 came from other Premier League sides, a stark contrast to their rivals, with City and Man United making just 25% of their signings from other clubs in the division, while just one of the last 13 Liverpool signings have not come from abroad. Crazy. I'm having Paulinho at Arsenal. We should reject AC Milan for Balogun. These Italian clubs are tough to negotiate with. Mwamba is on at 1:30 p.m. Moussa Diaby is the perfect replacement to give Saka a rest next season. Declan Rice is still number one target for Arsenal. Diaby and Brandt is on the list for Arsenal. If Barcelona are found guilty of corruption, will Arsenal get their Champions League trophy? Shameless settings. We need to. Bilbao throwing counterfeit cash onto the pitch. Lovely, man. UEFA Lona's doing people dirty, man. Smash the like button. It's about time, really. It's crazy that UEFA Lona is clearly a real thing. So I thought that article would be something a lot more than it actually was, people. Nonetheless, that's probably the same. We've seen this with Gabriel Jesus. Tierney frustrated at Arsenal as Celtic on payday alert amid 3 Premier League clubs transfer race. What's that? Aston Villa, Newcastle and Leicester. And this is Alan Smith's comments, really. So yeah, Newcastle, Aston Villa. Where's the third? Can't see it, but I don't think anybody cares about this, people, if I'm honest with you. Madness. Man United's transfers criticise Arsenal and Leeds dealings, highlight issues. Apparently, PSV Eindhoven director of football Marcel Brands has told Man United it was madness to pay 95 million euros for Anthony last summer, and mentioned Leeds United and Arsenal deals as an example. Specifically, he said, if you compare it with transfers that were realistic, such as that of Gabriel Jesus from Man City to Arsenal, that was also around that rate. There are normal amounts. I think everyone in football knows that Anthony was a madness. I think Rafinha leads to Barcelona is an even better player than Anthony, but he left for much less. I don't know if you lot believe that, but there you have it. I mean, we've spoken about this with Pep Guardiola. So that appears everything in the transfer realm, people. So, I don't know. I was doing some research there. So let's see exactly what Goal.com has said, people. Oh, yes, Jonathan David links again. Arsenal interested in signing Jonathan David. I like him, but if we're going to sign Jonathan David, I'd rather give the opportunity to Balogun. Or what do I know? Strikers peak at different rates. Arsenal are keeping tabs on Leo striker Jonathan David and could make a move for him in the next transfer window, reports out of Spain. As per the article, David is seen as the ideal rotation option by Arsenal, who would give competition and support to current marksman Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal remain interested in buying Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby, as we've gone over that, people, and Diaby and Brandt. We're interested in the 22-year-old right-back Sasha Boy. We should be looking at right-backs. Allegedly, Arteta prefers Zubimendi over Brighton's Caicedo. I do as well. He costs a lot cheaper. Arsenal tried to sign the Sociedad player in January before Caicedo, but he wanted to keep loyal to the Spanish club until the end of the season. We've been linked with a free signing of Mohamed Dahoud from Dortmund. Fabrizio Romano has ruled out Osimhen moving to Arsenal. I don't have it confirmed as of now. Arsenal have Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah and Balogun, and also Osimhen's price tag will be really huge. I think Arsenal have different priorities for this summer, including a new midfielder. Apparently, Brighton and Nice are interested in out-of-contract Reece Nelson, who might get a new deal. We've held talks with Asensio. Aston Villa have joined the race for Kieran Tierney. We're still interested in Caicedo, despite his new contract. We know Newcastle are fond of Tierney. We've been linked with Locatelli again. Brentford, Palace and West Ham have also been credited with interest in Reece Nelson. Fabrizio Romano has played down rumours of us going for Lavia of Southampton. Arsenal, along with City, Liverpool and Man United, have also registered an interest in McAllister, who said he wants his next club to be in the Premier League. We've heard it a million times. Declan Rice is very open to a move to Arsenal, and we've heard that we're looking at Zaha on a free. So with that, that seems to be the current speculation and news and all of these things. As we know, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. Whether you believe them or believe such is down to you lot, people. But until people are holding shirts and the rest of it, I wouldn't believe a damn thing. Let me circle back on Google and see if there's anything else. I mean, Eden Hazard sounds a bit like a sideman there. We'll look at that. We'll look at that. Change this to the last hour. Don't appear that there's anything different. Trossard's been speaking for what it's worth. See this. Boy. Anyways, let's see exactly what's going on. A couple of Trossard bits and pieces. Hey. We don't need copyright problems around here. But nonetheless, Leandro Trossard and Arsenal's title hopes. We want fans to believe. I don't know. I don't know. It's nice for them. Obviously, it's a great away win, and we want to give them that belief. For us, though, we need to take it game by game. It's a great win today. 3-0 at Fulham is not for everyone. It really isn't. They have had such a great season. There's still a long way to go, though. 11 games, a lot can happen. Last month, there was a lot of talk after we lost against City at home. Now it's again that we are top of the table. We just need to look at ourselves. If we keep the momentum high and the quality high, it's up to us. Wise words from a wise man. Eden Hazard admits he questioned why he played ahead of Leandro Trossard at the World Cup. He's the best Belgium in the league, and, you know, Hazard, myth for you. But let's see what he said exactly. We were talking about the name of Leandro Trossard to replace me. He was having a good season. Even I wondered why I had to play when he had to go on the bench. It's normal for people to think that, especially after the game against Egypt, where we don't play a good game, where I don't play a good game. Cristiano Ronaldo did not play the last matches of the World Cup with Portugal, and yet it is Cristiano Ronaldo with Portugal. It's even more than Eden with Belgium. It is football. There are young people who grow, who want to take the place. When I started at 16 with Lille, I took the place of Bastos or someone else, players who were there in place. It's normal. It's football. And then he always said, and then for what it's worth with Hazard, he said, there are several factors I started to think about after the Euros. At the time, I had worked a lot. I got injured. I couldn't play against Italy. It hurt my morale. There were a lot of things. I'm here in Madrid with Toni Kroos, who left the German national team 2 years ago, and who tells me that when other players are in the national team, he can enjoy with his children. And then the coach left. We had a very good relationship. There are also young people who are growing. I couldn't see myself not playing for Real Madrid and then arriving in the national team and playing when young people deserve this for the Devils. So, yeah, that's that, people. Anyways, Caicedo still linked to us, his paper links probably. Rice wants to link up with his mate, Mason Mount. Any news on Jesper Lindstrom? It seems that they have gone cold. I wouldn't sell Tierney at all either, man. Sell Tierney to Aston Villa and get Hickey from Brentford. He was a huge transfer target for Arsenal this summer. How much they going to put on it? I feel like the media are just trying to push this Tierney talk. He's fine at Arsenal. He's a good player. There was an article which I read about football supercomputer system that has predicted that Arsenal will lift the title this season. What's your thoughts? I mean, they're programmed an algorithm in it, you know. So it's probably going off what Arsenal have done previously. We don't know what's going to happen in months to come or games to come. And also, that's great for the supercomputer and all the people who designed it. But last time I checked, we're not quite in that AI generation yet. Football is one on a football pitch. And I'd like to see what that thing generated when we have dropped points this year. So I'd focus on just, using the computer for things we can to improve. But I don't know for the supercomputer thing. I believe that Mount is linked to Liverpool. He's linked to a lot of clubs, really. Mount's been linked to Liverpool. You got Chilwell linked to City. There's a lot of things. 7 more likes and we have 100 people. Come on, we're flirting with it. Come on, man. You lot have been amazing. Moussa Diaby is the perfect replacement to give Saka a rest next season. Declan Rice is still number 1 for Arsenal. Diaby and Brandt is on the list for Arsenal. Shout out to the Twitch gang. We need a killer finisher and cover for Saka and Partey. Then we are lifting the title. It's going to have to be for next season, though. We should aim to beat City. They've been winning against us for far too long now. I'm with you with that. And I also love how Trossard's fitting in the team. Feels like he's been here since August. I think you have to give Trossard credit as well because obviously he's Premier League proven his experience, the way we play football and his DNA as a footballer and football intelligence. It makes sense. But it is very difficult to join a club in January. Odegaard was written off by some Arsenal fans after joining in Jan. And there's been a hell of players like that. You just need to keep going. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, as we've been knowing. So we'll have to see how that develops. Supercomputer would have predicted Liverpool beating Bournemouth this weekend. Cannot trust AI 100%. With Liverpool's form, it might not have, but I agree with the premise. For extra live streams and videos, subscribe to me on YouTube. Do what that has said, people. 4:30, we're playing Football Manager. 1:30, which is in 24 minutes. I'm going to have a quick bite to eat. And then I'm going to have Muamba on the show where we're going to speak Arsenal and everything else, people. So with that being said, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you've subscribed. I don't want to bore you lot for too long, people. Save any opinions you have for then, and I'll see you lot in a second, people. As I said, make sure you're following on Twitch. One love to the Twitch gang. We've got 7K. Let's keep it going. If you've got Amazon Prime, hit that up. Again, I'm live with Fabrice after this, people. And again, for more extended thoughts, 2 hours ago, a video dropped of mine where we spoke about Arsenal from a tactical point of view. And as you can see, don't flop me. Don't flop me. Don't flop me. Please don't flop me as I'm trying to show people. So, yeah, as you can see, I hope I don't get copyrighted because this is my actual. Go and take this in, people. Tactical settings. Morning time in the dressing gown. Big up you lot, though, man. But on a serious note, I hope you and your loved ones are in good health. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Appreciate you lot, people. Again, all the support you lot give me, all the support we've had over the weekend. I'm going to love and leave you lot. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you lot in a few moments, people. But, yeah, for now, DG, I'm out. 103 likes. One love for that to everyone who's hit the like button. Appreciative for that. But yeah, I'm out.
Against this right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think